Say his name and he appears. I believe in Lee of jokes. Where is Lee of jokes? This is bad. He can't handle it. There he's
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hell is Real 2025 with your host, William James. The more you ask questions, the more I won't answer them. God, I love video games, and I love how we have so many different ways of playing video games. I prefer to play games on my Nintendos and on my PC, because I'm a big f***ing dummy. One of my favorite things about the PC is that it is just one of the most accessible ways for you to get your game out there. You could release anything on somewhere like Steam or itch.io and it would be fine, and you could get money for it, and it would be cool, and hey, what's this? Will you stop swiveling? Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm no good at telling a story backwards, so I guess I'll tell it forwards. This story starts with a woman named, Melinda Tankard-Reist. In 2008, she started a non-profit company in Australia called, according to this, her Wikipedia page, in full, Collective Shout for a World Free of Sexploitation, commonly shortened to Collective Shout. Collective Shout is a grassroots movement challenging the objectification of women and sexualization of girls in media, advertising, and popular culture. Did I note that also in her Wikipedia page, Melinda is also known for writing articles in conservative journals and has made statements about pro-life positions. She's a real piece of work, and you probably can tell where this story is going at this point. According to this, on July 11th, 2025, the team of Collective Shout has essentially sent a letter to most major payment processors in the world. So, like, they're the only people in the world who can help you transfer money from one bank account to another. Specifically about banning games on Steam, with them citing basically one game that they were able to get taken down off of both Steam and itch.io called No Mercy. Now, No Mercy was a game where you could, as described on Wikipedia, it is a game where you are able to do the thing, but you didn't ask permission, and the thing, but with your family. I believe this is a quote from their store pages. In this game, you'll either become every woman's worst nightmare, or rather, the best dickle they'll ever have. Your goal is simple. Leave no pussy non-fucked, since that's the only thing they all want. Never take no for an answer. Fuck your mom, fuck your auntie, even fuck your friend's mom. Why not? Take what's yours and show no mercy. Now, you may be wondering,
well, why should you worry? This is just an open letter being sent by a non-profit organization to a large corporation by a woman who doesn't believe in a woman's bodily autonomy and freedoms, talking about how payment processors are allowing people to purchase things using their payment process, even if those things just happen to be slightly explicit to majorly explicit.
what's the problem there? The problem there is that payment processors are capitulating. On July 15th, Steam delisted around 400 NSFW titles, simply due to the fact that payment processors asked them to do it. And what are Steam gonna do? Not agree with the only way they're allowed to allow people to charge for their video games? No, of course they're not going to do that, because because payment processors now are like the only way of digitally transferring funds. It then gets worse when Itch.io decides that they have to do that as well. And it's even worse for Itch.io because Itch.io is mostly indie devs. Indie devs would get hurt off of Steam, but Steam would probably still get a large chunk of revenue. This is absolutely detrimental to small creators. If your game is found to have just a little bit of nips in it, bam, delisted. You're not, or at the very least, taken off out of search results. Now, I don't like how this is happening any more than the average gooner, but let's be fair. Maybe Collective Shout really does care about protecting people like children from buying video games on Steam, something I don't know how children can do, because for some reason children are taking time off of Fortnite to go play their gooner games or something. So, what in their eyes is sexualization? Well, they do use scientific studies to try and explain what they believe sexualization is. However, I find their reasoning a little bit stupid. They claim that Collective Shout claims that according to the American Physiological Association, sexualization occurs when a person's value only comes from his or her sex appeal or behavior to the exclusion of other characteristics. A person is held to a standard that equates physical attractiveness, defined with being sexy. A person is sexually objectified, that is, made into something for others' sexual use, rather than seen as a person with capacity for independent action, decision, or sexuality is inappropriately imposed on a person. They're acting as if sexualization is a bad thing, which it can be, but what if it's the point of something? They also do cite a few things. These first two seem pretty legit, although when I went through one of them and when I read through it, it just sort of, maybe I'm missing something, but it just seems less like it's about actual sexualization of children and more marketing to children, which is also not very good. But like, this is an example they use, and it just looks like an Old Navy ad an Old Navy ad. That polo shirt does look sick, though. I kind of want that. They also cite the American Psychological Association, which I don't know if I'm confusing with like some off-brand of a real thing, or if that is the real thing. Again, didn't research this in-depthly enough. That is literally just a book that is forwarded and edited by the people who run Collective, by Melinda Tankard-Reist, or the person who runs Collective Shout today. So I don't know why she's citing herself here. So we know what they think of sexualization, but what about objectification? Sexual objectification occurs when a person, most often a woman, is treated as a body or series of body parts for others' use and consumption, when her physical attributes and sexual capabilities are regarded as representational of her whole self, or seen as a determining of her worth. Why do you say why are you saying it as most often a woman? You can sexually objectify watch, hold on. Alright, so I found some things we can use to sexually objectify. Donkey Kong, I'll objectify him all I want. I'll expand dong and all that.
Okay.
She is Fantavision for PlayStation 2. I'll objectify this. I'll salivate all over it right now, but I'm not going to. And this funny noise maker. It doesn't work. I get that maybe objectifying things a bit too much is bad, but like, you can't just cite yourself 3 times. Isn't sexualization just in the eye of the beholder? I would say yes. Personally, I'll sexually objectify Wario. Some people who oppose our work challenge the sexualization of girls, just girls, nothing else, claim those who are object to sexualization are the ones that are sexualizing change. No, I think people say that you being so angry about sexualization is just f***ing dumb in general because you're just obsessing over something that is so inconsequential to actual problems in the world. By criticizing sexualization, aren't you shaming girls? A common refrain is that to acknowledge sexualized clothing, toys, products, and marketed to girls is to shame them for their choices. The sexualization as girls has very little to do with girls' choice, with much more to do with companies, advertisers, and marketers whose financial interests are at stake. Yes, that's not sexualization of young girls. That's marketing to children. Something companies want to do because children will tell their parents to buy something for them. It's marketing to children and their parents. It's not making young girls appear sexy and making them want to be that. They are marketing to children. That is a completely different problem than what you're making it out to be. Like, they call it corporate pedophilia, and that's the name of that one paper where that sick kid in the sick polo is. And they have other pictures where it's very clearly just advertisements for other things. Most of the things that they're claiming is sexualization is just girls in dresses where their shoulders are visible. Oh no, I'm showing off my collarbone. Oh no, I'm going to be sexualized. Only sluts show off their collarbones. It's only nature. But sex sells and always had. It's not sex being sold. It's women's objectified bodies, or men's, or Wario. If it was sex being sold, we would see men and women being equally objectified. Okay, I would like to... Hold on a second. Alright, this is what I'm talking about. Cologne ads. In my opinion, I would say that is objectifying. You're taking a stereotypically hot guy to advertise a cologne to. Now, you can do this with women as well, as seen here. I would say that that is also pretty objectifying, you know, it's not like being turned as sexual. It's just saying, hey, you'll smell great and you'll get ladies. But, like, it's objectifying men to advertise to men. I don't know where but you get the point, right? They don't seem to understand that objectification doesn't just mean you're objectifying someone sexually. It means that you are objectifying the person in general. Why do you show sexualized image in videos when you say you're trying to fight this? The same reason PETA will show you slaughterhouses and then take your animals away and euthanize them. Alright, this is where, I start to get really annoyed because they tend not to understand that maybe a woman wants to objectify herself? Maybe a man wants to objectify herself. Maybe that's why they got into the modeling business. It is true that some women choose to participate in practices and industries that sexually objectify and commodify other women's bodies. But just because a few individual women participate in their own objectification does not negate the well-established harms of sexual objectification on women as a whole. What about men? What about men? What if men were to be objectified? Like, I get why they're focusing so hard on women, but it's not all women. It's men as well. It's body types, it's face shapes, it's a lot. And that may sound like me trying to justify saying, I don't know. All I'm thinking is, it's a lot more complicated than these guys make it out to seem, because I know that. And if people choose now back to this, yes, it does matter if people choose to participate. Because they chose to. It's their conscious choice. Are you anti-sex? Oh, they're not anti-sex. They're pro-sex with a man and a woman, and it's complete, and it's only a missionary, and they only like it when that sex results in a baby 9 months later. Doopa-doopa-doo, hi, my name's Charlie Kirk. Oh, what's this? Women's reproductive rights? Well, don't mind if I do! Why are you against child sex abuse dolls and virtual AI porn depicting children? Because it's... Okay, this one I can agree with because it's f***ing weird and we shouldn't allow this. My child has been exposed to porn. How can I share my story? Okay, here's how you do it. You go to your desktop in Windows. You right click. You press new. You find the button that says New Text Document, and then you type this. Talk to your f***ing child. Ask your child one question, like, what did you see? What did you see? Was it porn? Okay. Would you like to talk about it? I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I would just like to help you get through help you process what you just saw. Is your child okay? If your child's okay, if you don't know, maybe you should spend a little less time complaining about it on the internet. Maybe you shouldn't have to share your fucking story with someone. Can't choking slash strangulation be done safely and consensually? Probably, but you know what, kids? If you're going to do autoerotic asphyxiation, always do it with someone else in the room. Alright, so I'd say that these guys are prudes, but that would be just stating the obvious. Let's talk about their influence in other things, like talking about how they really hate lingerie. As far as I can determine, ad standards is basically just like this group of people who just approve ads for print and release in Australia. And these guys got angry at the fact that a lingerie dealer in Australia called Honey Burdette was advertising lingerie. Oh my god, look how salacious that is. I'm probably gonna blur it in post because Jesus Christ, I'm not getting it. Because Jesus Christ, I'm not getting in trouble with YouTube. Oh no, they were in the shop windows for a shopping mall for children to see as they walk past with their parents while they're probably busy biting their parents' shins, asking them if they can stop at the food court for a soft pretzel. Oh no! Oh no, they're advertising $160 leather handcuffs? I'm guessing that's AU dollars? I'll put it on screen how much that actually is, but here's the thing, that's on their website. Why would a kid be going on a website that is advertising this stuff? That is a lot more easily... I mean, yeah, sure, a kid could still probably find that. But it's in a place they're not supposed to be on the internet, so if they go there and they found that, that's on the parents because they weren't supervising them. I found this article on a site called Biz News, which does a much more blunt description of what and who Collective Shout actually is. And I quote, "The action of Steam and Itch.io were precipitated by a religious conservative Australian anti-porn lobby group known as Collective Shout. The group opposes not only pornography but even lingerie advertising and barmaids working in skimpy clothes. It wants Grand Theft Auto games franchise and the 50 Shades book banned. In true moral panic tradition, it describes its opponents as porn-sick, brain-rotted pedo gamer fetishists. Maybe some of them are, but there is plenty of space in between the extremes of religious conservative moralists on one hand and criminal degenerates on the other for legitimate dissent." So if you're wondering why a lot of porn games are getting... So if you're wondering why there's a lot of anger about Collective Shout online, and it doesn't have anything to do with the movie Cuties, I would talk about it, but I thought about that movie for too long of my life. I've been holding on to that movie for the last 5 years since I've seen it, and I have seen it, and it's not good. However, I think we should be definitely opposing Collective Shout for what I believe is censorship of perfectly legal content. Speaking of censorship of what I believe is perfectly legal content. Oi, mate! It's me from the freaking London, mate. It's me from London. I want to have a wee wank. I want to have a tiny wank on my willy, but I can't because I can't fucking get to twitter.com without showing Elon Musk my face and dick. If you live in Britain and you existed and you want to look at, say, I don't know, your favorite OnlyFans model, tough luck, f***er. Britain's new Online Safety Act launched literally just last Friday, for them at least, which puts some new guidelines in for regulating the internet. Which is stupid, because there are so many ways that this has definitely blown up in their faces. If you're not aware of how age verification worked on porn sites a while ago, don't worry, it wasn't any good, but hey, it was a legal way for porn sites to say, oh yeah, no children are coming onto this site. Look, they had to click a button that said, yeah, I'm 18. I'm 18. I may look 12, but I'm 18. To try and hopefully change that, the good people at 10 Downing Street in Parliament have decided to put together their new rules for their Online Safety Act, which put many different ways of verifying that, like showing the government your legal ID. Come on, just show the government your ID and you can go and wank yourself tonight. Come on, just show it to me. Show me your ID. Show me your fucking ID, motherfucker. This is similar to what Texas is doing in America, where they want people to literally show their driver's license to access things like Twitter and Pornhub and the X videos and the Red Tubes and YouPorn and XNXX.com. Fuck. Spank bang. Now look, I am all for children not seeing porn before they're ready to see porn, but I'm not for putting showing my driver's license to Elon Musk's Grok. I just don't think it's ready to see what I look like on my on my state ID, because as of time of recording, I don't have a driver's license. Look at me, I'm 22 years old. I don't have a driver's license. Now, any website that could have any form of adult content, as this Sun article says, websites like Porn, X, and Reddit are required to put these rules in place. You know who else is required to put these rules in place? Fucking Wikipedia. Wikipedia was basically forced to put these rules in place too, because, you know, what if God forbid a kid needs to learn how the menstrual system works, and the only place they have to learn about that is fucking Wikipedia. And I would trust Wikipedia to teach me about the menstrual system. Now, don't worry, you don't have to submit a government ID to get past some of these censors. You could also just submit your face. Just submit your face, and you'll be good. Hey, I would love to give you a fun fact. Did you know black facial recognition is less likely to recognize a black person as a person? Did you know that? Although some of the ways that to verify ages may sound like they pose a potential privacy and security risk by collecting data such as ID uploads of financial information, there are methods in place to reduce further harm. It's not like there's a group of furry hackers out there that could possibly hack into that could possibly hack into Twitter, that could possibly hack into the government, because the government is run on deprecated old systems that could very easily weed this stuff out. No, there's no way a hacker could get into that. I don't trust X with any of my data, Twitter with any of my data. I don't trust any site that has any form of pornographic data to keep my data safe. I just don't. There's always a way. I just feel like it's a good idea on paper, but like it just feels like it's it's just punishing everyone for not doing their job as a parent and making sure your children stay in the places where they are, like they set up parental controls or, you know, God forbid, talk to their child. I don't know, it's just me. I think this is stupid, and so do a lot of people on Twitter, because when I was on my Twitter accounts last night, you know what I saw? A whole bunch of people being angry that they couldn't look at porn online. However, I have also seen that there is a growing petition with, last time I heard about it, it was like over 130,000 signatures, or maybe less, I don't know. But it was definitely over 100,000 signatures that say, hey, British government, this law f***ing sucks. Discover adult-only resorts. Oh god, soda is not good for you. Don't drink soda. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this or the collective shout thing. And it's for one reason, and one reason alone, and that is, why are they trying to censor the idea of porn and sex in general? One of the questions that I was asking when I was looking into both Collective Shout and the tiny when this video was originally supposed to be just about a Collective Shout and a little bit of looking into what happened in Britain, I had a thought. Are they breaking the law? At least here in America, are they breaking the law? Are they doing something that they shouldn't be doing? Because I very much remember that at least here in America, we have something called the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech, and which I know people commonly boil down to freedom of speech, but it's a lot more than that. It's basically saying a government can't shut you down for what you have to say or show to the world. Now, a corporation doesn't have to abide by those same ideas, but if they get complaints about it, like, they're allowed to not want to show you porn on the internet, but if there is a site that will allow it, and someone wants to take it down, they can't legally force someone to take it down because that would violate the First Amendment. I found this article here written on the topic of obscenity and pornography from the Free Speech Center at Middle Tennessee State University, also a pretty good read, which tries to define what obscenity is and where pornography fits into all of it. Now, there are a few parts of the First Amendment that pornography and sex do not apply to, which is obscenity and child pornography. Understandable for child pornography. Obscenity, though, can be extremely subjective when it comes to who's saying it, because to someone like me, obscenity could be mutilating a puppy for nothing but pure pleasure, where to someone like Collective Shout, it could just be me alone in my room with my pants down. The Supreme Court of the United States has had, if you read this article, has had one hell of a time trying to explain what obscenity even is. Now, the most recent way that legal scholars and people who actually know what they're talking about have determined obscenity is something called the Miller test that became standard in the 1970s for courts. And what I take from it is whether the work, taken as a whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. And I think that says a whole lot. Let's change this up for a bit, and let's say that the game at risk of being pulled from Steam was something like mouthwashing. Something with a clear artistic vision. I wouldn't know, haven't played it, I've just heard about it. However, what if it was taken down because of its content? Would that be okay? I would argue no. I would also argue no because of No Mercy, because who knows, maybe that had some artistic intent. I don't know, I'll never play it. I mean, the internet has only made this Miller test a lot less unreliable, because there's just so much content to sift through that, like, it's hard to even, like, know what the hell anything could be. This is what makes things like, say, the payment processors forcing Steam to take down a bunch of porn games so fucking annoying to me, because, like, I've played porn games that are bad. Like, really bad. Like, I've played Lula 3D. That was trying to tell a story, though. So, I think it would have still been legal under the First Amendment. I've also played actual good porn games. I've played a game called Scarlet Maiden, which is a fun little roguelike thing that just has sex in it. It's also fairly good. It's fairly good. So I would say it also has artistic value to it. Did No Mercy have artistic value? Fuck if I know. Maybe it did. I mean, there's a reason why Hatred is still available for purchase in America. Who knows if it's available anywhere else? What I just want to say is, what I'm just saying is that I don't think we should be allowing payment processors and non-profit organizations hell-bent on removing the idea of lingerie to regulate the world, to regulate what kind of media I can consume on a daily basis. Like, if that Melinda Reese woman just came into my room and just took the hard drive where Postal 2 is kept on, I would riot, because she can't take Postal 2 away from me. Restricting ourselves to this tight thing would just limit what kind of artistic visions we could allow, and without room to stretch those boundaries, we would just probably still be stuck with side-scrollers today. Things like Doom would never be made. Some of the greatest games of our time probably wouldn't be made. Grand Theft Auto wouldn't be made. I just don't want us to become, like, a Puritan nightmare. I don't know, I just figured I had opinions on what I wanted to say, I've said them, and now I think that this video is done. Thank you so much for watching this piece of garbage video. I'll probably think of a better conclusion later. I'll probably have to fact-check a bunch of this stuff after I reread what I put into it. I don't know why I put that picture on the second monitor. Hi, this is Liam Jones, after he's pretty much edited most of the video together, but he needs a decent outro for his video. Anyway, this is me recording just a small voiceover to tell you what, if you are interested in trying to help prevent people like Collector Shout and the UK government from going too far and what I would consider overreach, there's a petition. There's petitions on change.org, and the ACLU is also having a petition. They need, as of time, they're about 50,000 signatures short. I would recommend that if you live in the US, you should probably support this. If you live in the UK and you want to help repeal if you live in the UK government and parliament has a petition section on their site where you can go and repeal the online safety. Sign a petition to say that you would like to repeal the Online Safety Act. It's okay. Also, if you live in America, there's a bill up for vote called the Kids Online Safety Act, which is a terrible act that will essentially also basically do the same thing that is going on in the UK, and I don't like it any more than you do. So sign petitions about that as well. Call your Congress people and just hope for dear life that they will listen, because I do not want this to be allowed either. That was me just getting on a soapbox. Thank you so much for listening. Listen to my outro now. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some things I've got to get done.